Welcome back, and we're here in Last Light because we kept getting this Gale in our combats from halfway across the map.
Welcome! A lot of... Well, I saw you lay out. How'd you learn? Had to. I've been tossed from the look of fight with those. In that case. Ha! Nice try, Shorty. Keep it... It is, isn't it?
So Mattis looks up to Karlak.
We've
That's
got
kind of fun.
legitimate, and
We'll see if he's got any extra stock.
Mole gave it to me and said I shouldn't let it go to just any old jacket.
We'll go with the persuasion option, and we'll have a little guidance, and we've got a lot of bardic inspiration, so we'll take it.
I mean, maybe.
The follow-up check is really easy.
But she put me in.
He'll give us the tower-shaped key, which we'll use to get into the Masons Guild. And we'll see what he's stocking. He does have some quality alchemical stuff, including another arsonist's oil. These are pretty good for us, so when we run into something that is a high hit point target with fire resistance, we can use this to swap the resistance into vulnerability. Colossus is okay. I think we'd rather have strength most of the time. Getting a level 3 spell slot back is good. I don't know that we're really going to... We haven't been using very many of these. I don't know that we're going to. The evasive shoes are really, really good. Cunning Brim can be good for some characters, right? So when we disengage, we can get this fog cloud. Usually that's an action, but Karlak now can use it as a bonus action, so she could create fog clouds and then move away after attacking. We'll keep that in mind as a thought. Arrows of Dragon Slaying, doing double damage to dragons is good, almost required to kill them. We could pocket this, 176. We aren't going to run into a dragon for a long time, though, so not sure that we need to immediately stock up. It is kind of one of those things where you may not be able to get it when you want it. Mattis should show up as a vendor in Act 3, sort of regardless of what happens here.
Pleasure. Last Light's best bargain.
And we'll talk to Barkus.
Ah, you found your way. I thought I'd scout a new type of smoke powder. You'll need it. You'll need it. You'll need it. If you're going to save, let's call you. I'll do my... The brilliant retort will aid you. Thus, I will... Let's not... You... Some of us are...
So, Barkus is a vendor here at the end.
I'm sure you would.
He's a vendor in our camp, sort of, right? So we can pickpocket him, but he won't actually sell things to us. The Ring of Geniality, if you're going for social wins against the Thorms, is pretty good. Acrobat shoes are okay. The gloves of the automaton are excellent. They have one ability, right, that we get considered a construct. Weapon attacks have advantage, and we've got resistance to lightning damage. Really, really good. The lightning resistance is okay for a couple of fights. Getting advantage for 10 turns on a short rest is super powerful, and they're great. I don't know that we can afford them at the moment. 880 is a bit much for our current financial situation. I tend to not use them anyway. They are a really, really good item. There's also, while we're here, a little bit of money in here.
My coin is on you. That's curious. Just do your best, all right?
So there's a ring. where if you deal cold damage, we create a little circle of ice around the target. It's pretty good if you're doing cold damage build. There are no Flaming Fist in here because we killed them all in Act 1. So it's pretty boring in here. Just art. So for all of that though, we haven't actually ended that quest line, so we can still complete that. All right, so I think that's all the stuff that we needed to do here. Let's go back to Rethwin Town, I think, and keep exploring. We'll leave this area unexplored on the map to remind ourselves that we haven't done it. And since we were forced to come up here, I think we'll do the encounters on the way back to Rethwin Town. And if you take a look at the video history, you'll see as we were getting into combat in Rethwin, we kept getting Ceres at last light to join in the combat from across the map. So she'd still be at last light, but in our combat. And I was really worried that it was going to create something where we were going to break the game somehow. All right, so here we are. We're going to break these lamps. We've got this True Soul here. He's dead. You've got a book that, if we read it, tells us that he created some light barriers. Also take this water and a potion. Gale's down to just a couple of spells, as is Minthara. Karlach is still relatively fresh. So on our scale of characters that recover on a short rest, Karlach is really high. Shadowheart is pretty high, so she gets her Bardic Inspiration back, and since she's doing the Bard Archer with Sharpshooter, she's doing pretty well on that. Karlach gets all of her key points back, so she basically is fully restored on a short rest. Minthara gets her Bardic Inspiration back, but she uses spell slots for her smites, so probably not as set up. She'll be able to do some damage and tricks, but she isn't going to be as effective. And then Gale is entirely spell slot based, so he only recovers on long rests. So we've got a bit of a mix. The strongest parties tend to be those that focus on the same rest type, so monks and warlocks and other short resters do well together, and long resters tend to do well together, just because there's some synergy in the amount of rests that you're taking. All right, so while we're here, we've got, I don't want the Shadow Lantern, I want the Moon Lantern. We'll put it on the ground. One of the gimmicks that a lot of the baddies in Act 2 have is that they do better when it's dark outside. If we throw this Moon Lantern down, it creates a light area that we don't have to do anything special to maintain. It's sort of like casting daylight on ourselves. Do we want to summon anything? We could throw down a Dryad. They're really helpful in shutting off parts of battlefields. Like, so for instance, we could put a spike growth over here and force everyone to come in through one gate. I think so. I think we'll throw one up. And then we could, if we had a cleric, throw aid. It would increase everyone's hit points. I don't think we've got anyone capable of casting that at the moment. So Shadowheart, I think next level we'll get that.
Oh, I have the magic touch.
Alright, so let's go ahead and so Minthara will do okay damage with her crossbows, but not good damage. And I think there's one back here, and when we knock this down, we'll go into combat with a couple of spectral dogs. And we're still getting Ceres in combat. Oh, what do we got to do to get her to stop showing up, I wonder?
Let me strike.
So
My turn.
let's have Karlach run over.
Incoming. Ready for battle.
Go for the throat.
I think because we didn't have the Dryad go first, we can throw up a spike growth over here.
I thirst for combat.
And I don't want to step out into the shadows, so we'll just fire a couple of shots. We could use our bardic shots as well.
Witching hour.
So it loses its Shadow Veil and isn't doing as well because of the Moon Lantern. We'll try and re-roll. The fear can be problematic. So she's rushing to try to get to this combat. The Dryad hits remarkably hard. Strengthened Shillelagh does a lot of damage. Unless we roll a 1. So there's our feared person. Of course it's Minthara, that's pretty funny.
My victims await.
And we'll have Karlach try to finish off the last dog. And I'll separate the party out so that we don't run across each other here or across the spike growth.
At the ready. Right away.
And we'll pick up our Moon Lantern. And we ran past this combat here as well on the way over,
Wizards quite worth
where we revealed these Meazels.
sleep beckons. I will follow.
And we'll set the Moonshield thing down. Take a look at a Meazle. They have dark vision opportunity attacks. They try to grab you and drag you off into the shadows. It's a much scarier prospect before you've got the Pixie Blessing. And part of this act, I think, is designed around the quest to get protected so that you can go adventure. We just did that immediately when we walked in. So they're surprised because we just decided to attack them. she'd stayed where she was the last time. We'll keep that going. Asterion has a bow. Use that.
Allow me to demonstrate.
They do teleport, these guys teleport, so we'll see if they will sort of shadow step across. He's just gonna hoof it.
Ready for another round?
We'll have Karlak open up with some powerful monk stuff. And they've got this rope, which is just, thematic.
Yes.
So she's putting out something like, 20 to 30 damage with crossbows. Not anything close to what she puts out in melee, but she doesn't do terrible damage at range. So 27. So the Dryad hits almost as hard, but not very accurately. Which was a bit of the issue I was having with Ranger pets. So they do good damage, but they don't hit very easily. So against the targets that you really want to have additional damage against, they do nothing at all. Spike growth will do a lot of work for the party in most of these encounters, all the way through Act 3.
This is gonna feel good.
Bring Karlak over. She does have a crossbow for this reason.
Hungry for the slaughter. Last boys.
Just skip him. He hardly does damage. That is not why we've got Asterion. We have him to be a shape-shifting druid, not to impress us with his archery skills.
Understood. Die, Evelyn. Let's go.
She's got another attack, doesn't she?
Forever, pal.
So this guy doesn't want to step down off the ledge at the moment, and that suits us. We do pretty good damage at range, so if they want to just stay at range and not engage, we will let them do that.
One can't always be a gentleman.
That's it. Let's grab our moon lantern. And we will have the Dryad stop concentrating on spike growth.
A long way from Waterdeep. May it please Mistra.
There's a key over here if we detect it. We might all have missed it. We ran past here before. I don't think we picked it up. And we'll have Karlak is our best actual lockpick at the moment. Sort of fitting. She's a street kid. Maybe she picks some stuff up. We've got the luminous gloves. When we deal radiant damage, the target receives 2 turns of radiating orb. That can be good, especially for later when we have a easier chance of picking up the radiant damage. But Karlach does it now. Unfortunately, I think I'd rather have the extra fire damage than turns of radiant orb. The radiant orb subtracts from their ability to attack us, which would be something that's only going to come up if they're still alive to attack us. So if we do more damage, they may not even have that chance. And I think that that was all we needed to do, so let's go to Rethwin Town. And we've got the key, so I think we'll come over here and take care of the Masons Guild on the way over to the inn. We've not met Corilla yet in this playthrough, I don't think.
Tread carefully.
So
Mason's Guild, it seems.
we'll stop here
That
at the
explains
Masons Guild.
unfinished statues. The impaled skeletons, not so much.
Alright, as always, thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to catch you in the next one.